everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vivi Price. I am baking cookies. Yes, that is what I'm doing today. Why am I baking cookies? I'm baking cookies because I want cookies. I love cookies. Secondly, I tried to bake cookies already, and this is what it looked like. So this is my cookie. My cookie didn't freaking, you know, when people cookies go in the bake in the oven and they supposed to fall down and like bake and melt. No, mine turned into like a rock. I ate some of it, obviously, but that's not the point. The point is, this doesn't seem like the cookie that was in a video that I saw on YouTube that I want to follow. This cookie is very much not right? So I'm doing it again, second time, just to see like if I can get better at this and do this thing in a better way. I don't understand, like, why didn't my cookie do what it needed to do? So just trying again and using this video as a visual representation of me actually putting my money where my mouth is. Like I always talk about, you know, you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep going, da, 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 da. Well, let me see you do it, period. Let me put you on a stage, in the words of Tyler, the Creator. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been on a bit of a binge where cookies are concerned. Backstory. I apparently was allergic to chocolate as a kid. Like when I was younger, I had two very like severe chocolate anaphylactic experiences. And one of them landed me in the hospital with my face looking like I got stung by a bumblebee. One of them made me look crazy. And that's when I found out that I was allergic to chocolate. And I kind of was like, well, that's freaking ridiculous. And obviously every single time somebody heard that, they're like, oh, that's so sad. You're not living your life. You're not being able to experience the best like sweet thing ever. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, if it is, it is. If this is what my reality is, it is what it is. I just don't have a choice. I'm allergic to it. I can't eat it. So then as I grew up, my parents, well, I guess, yeah, technically both my parents and myself, I never really followed up with the allergist doctors as to like, if I was still had the same allergies that I had as a kid. But then I finally grew up, became an adult, and I was experiencing like these little, like not little, but like really random rashes when we moved from Florida to Washington. So then I eventually went to an allergist to figure out what was going on in my face and why I was having these like rash-like experiences. And they didn't really have an answer for me. But in that process, I found out that I wasn't allergic to chocolate. That's all the backstory, right? Finding out that I wasn't allergic to chocolate opened up my palate to obviously a whole new taste that I've never really had before. So I just started obviously eating chocolate and feeling like, okay, this is crazy. Like, it's actually pretty good. And then I discovered chocolate chip cookies because everybody talks about chocolate chip cookies. And I was like, listen, this makes me feel like my childhood self is getting to finally embark on something they've never been able to embark on. And that is chocolate chip cookies. So that is also another reason why I'm doing this video. Outside of the fact that I want to bake chocolate chip cookies, is also to experience the feeling of eating freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. I mean, there's kids that grow up with their parents making these cookies for them on a Saturday just because. Meanwhile, me, I was sitting in a hospital bed, allergic, thinking I was allergic at least for a long time and not knowing when I grew out of that allergy. So that's kind of cool. So there's that. But yeah, baking has always been something I've always wanted to do. There's so many things that I've always wanted to do. To be honest with you guys, I have a lot of things that I want to do in my life. I feel like I'm not a jack of all trades, but I have a lot of trades that I want to be the jack of. That's the best way I could put it. I mean, not only baking, but pottery. I really want to go to a pottery class and I actually like experience making something like a vase or something with my hands and seeing like what happens, and obviously being probably abysmal at it in the beginning, but then getting better. I really want to do pottery. So that's also another thing that I feel like I kind of want to do. I also want to be a much better cook before I have kids. Like I want my kids to be able to have like home cooked meals. Don't get it twisted. I can follow a recipe and I can make very decent food, that edible food, but I don't think I'm like a chef. Like I don't cook like my mom or my mother-in-law. They can cook. They from the islands. They could cook. You know what I mean? They can go in the kitchen and make something out of nothing. Me, I'm making something out of not basic, but yeah, basic stuff. Like making sure you're eating right and healthy and just very regular food. Very regular food, okay? But I want my kids to grow up on, my husband's Jamaican. I want my kids to grow up on Haitian and Jamaican food. Like they need to know what fresh stoupies taste like. You know what I mean? They need to know what fresh banan, akdi, and pois taste like. They need to know that. They need to know that. It's inevitable. It is impossible. I'm not having kids if I cannot make that. That's a very crazy, bold statement, but you get what I'm trying to say. All right, I'm gonna be right back after I speed this up a little bit to figure out why this butter is not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna put up a video of what the guy did, the guy that I followed on YouTube, his video. I'm gonna show you what his look like, and then I'm gonna show you what mine looks like, because it don't look the same. And that's already making me feel like this is not going in the right direction. Okay, and this is hard. It's warm butter. The butter's not cold, but it feel like it's maneuvering like cold butter. This is what my butter and like sugar mixture looks like right now. And then you'll see what his looks like on the screen, child, and tell me what the hell is going on. Because I don't know. All right, guys, I think I figured it out. So mine looked like a ball of Play-Doh, as you guys already know, because I showed it to you guys already. And now we're at like a whipped butter kind of vibe. Kind of like his, but maybe not exactly one-to-one. You know, it's kind of like his. So yeah, so now we're just gonna move on with the recipe. The thing about it is, I make banana bread fairly often. Not me not knowing how to crack an egg. This egg is disrespectful. This egg. I can't even believe this egg just did that to me. I guess I kind of did it to it. Anyway, I make banana bread fairly often. I think my banana bread is pretty good. My husband likes it, I like it, we like it. And whenever the bananas get a little bit too sweet, when they get a little ripe and I don't have anything else to do with it, I make banana bread. And the thing that I've realized, or the experience that I can pull from the banana bread, as you can see, I do not have a mixer. This recipe doesn't call for a mixer, so that's pretty good. I'm obviously gonna link it in the description box below. So, what I can pull from that recipe is that sometimes you do not have to do things certain steps one-to-one. Like that recipe literally calls for a mixer. Your batter has to feel more fluffy. And every single time I made my banana bread, I have never had a mixer, and I've done it, and the banana bread still comes out fire. So even though my butter, sugar, salt mixture that I have in this bowl is not exactly one-to-one like his, because it seemed like he was using like a whipped butter kind of consistency, I still think it can work. Yeah, I think it can work. I really do think it can work. I'm gonna whisk up this egg, because this egg is definitely the next step. But the thing about whisking is I found whisking with chopsticks so much easier than whisking, not easier, but like I found that I could really get in there. Not that a whisk doesn't do its job, it's just that, I don't know. This is what I found to be a little bit easier. My husband loves Asian food, and he can use chopsticks. So I bought like a whole bunch of chopsticks just to make him feel, you know, whenever he want to use them, child, he could use them. And that's why I have so many of these. Honestly, the whisking is the same process. We're just whisking an egg here. Ooh, I hope these cookies don't come out looking crazy. I really hope these cookies don't come out looking crazy. Let me reference this video really quick. Because one thing about it, two things for certain. If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not about to act like I know what I'm doing. That's for sure. What is this supposed to look like? I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. What if this thing doesn't come out right? This is the same thing that happened to me last time. But last time, I melted the butter all the way. It was not whisked at all. Oh, you just gotta do it till it's fully incorporated. You just gotta mix the egg until it's fully incorporated. Okay, that's cool. I can do that. When I did make these cookies yesterday, I felt like they just weren't sweet enough also. So I will be adding more sugar before I move on to the next step, which the next step is just adding vanilla, which honestly, I love vanilla. I love vanilla as a smell. I love vanilla as a taste. As a flavor, as a taste. As a flavor, vanilla is one of my favorite flavors. That's also because I couldn't have chocolate, as we have already discussed. Do you guys like my apron? I love my apron. Let's talk about the apron. I got this apron from World Market last weekend with my husband. We went out to peruse, to browse around to find things for our apartment. And I saw it and I was like, oh, I need an apron. I really do need an apron. As much as I've been in this kitchen, how many times I have to cook and clean every day, I always feel like an apron would have been so necessary. Now we're gonna add some vanilla. When I made this yesterday also, I felt like the vanilla wasn't coming through, you know? So I'm adding a touch more of that as well. You gotta make tweaks. That's another thing. With baking, I realized that yes, there's a recipe, and yes, there's things that you can follow to help get the basis of what you're doing, but that doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it. Make your tweaks. If it's not the flavor that you like, or if it's not doing what you want it to do, make the tweaks. I'm still gonna add a little bit more sugar. I'm gonna empty the sugar container. This is not healthy. I can tell you that right now. And it's not meant to be. It's meant to be a dessert that I'm gonna eat happily with no qualms, no issue. Yeah, let's add a little bit more vanilla just because I want to. This could really mess up the recipe though. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Don't think I know what I'm doing because I don't.
One eternity later.
And this is where we're at. This is what my batter looks like. I love scraping the spoon. There's something so satisfying about it to me. Man, this looks very similar to his. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Yep, flour and baking powder. I got these containers. What are these containers? They're called OXO. I don't know what they're called, but I'm gonna link them down below. I love these containers. They're airtight. They come with their own little thingy, but if you have to weigh something, obviously you need to do something else. But I love them. I have 3 of them for my flour, my sugar, and more sugar. 2 different types, brown sugar and white sugar, granulated sugar. I think they're fan-freaking-tastic. This is, I feel like, my most nerve-wracking part is adding the flour because it immediately looks, okay, this looks way too dry. But again, pulling off of my experience from making banana bread, you have to keep mixing. That's what I've realized, because once you first put it in there, you're thinking, oh my gosh, the batter's messed up, I don't know what to do. But no, you just gotta keep mixing until it becomes the texture, or until it gets to the texture that you're looking for, which at first is extremely nerve-wracking, because it's like what is this? Like, what is this for real, you know? But just keep mixing until you get to the texture that you're looking for. I like recipes that are kind of forgiving, especially for people who are starting things out for the first time, because you know, you don't know what you're doing. So hopefully this second go around is more forgiving than the first. Hopefully. This is where we're at with the batter. Hopefully we're doing okay. It does look very similar to his, so that's really good. Now, this is the part that's a little bit different. I am using these chocolate chips from Costco, which there's not a problem with it, but he doesn't use chocolate chips. He uses actual chocolate and he cuts it up to pieces. So that's where there's a bit of a difference. But again, just use what you got and go from there. That's how I'm going about it right now, at least. I'm using macadamia nuts, great value, from Walmart, because, well, that's all I couldn't find any other ones. I was like, well, I guess I don't got no choice. So I'm gonna weigh these out and then, or measure these out, and then we're going to add them to the batter. And here we are for now. Obviously not mixed. Let's get to mixing this thing, okay? I have heard multiple things about baking in regards to not wanting to overmix. And usually people will tell you like, oh, don't overmix your batter. But I always feel like when you're adding, you know, chocolate chips, nuts, raisins, whatever extra chunkier ingredient to the batter, you kind of have to be a little bit rough with it, you know? You can't just think you're just, oh, I'm just gonna mix it. No, you have to kind of incorporate it, like really push it into the batter. That's just my experience. I don't know. I switch my utensils to an actual spatula because I feel like this was actually doing what I needed it to do a lot more than the spoon that I was using. So there is that. This is what we're looking like right about now. I think it looks pretty good. It smells very good. The vanilla is definitely coming through, so hopefully we can taste it when we bake these cookies. This has to refrigerate for 1 hour, and then we'll be back to put it on the parchment paper on the baking sheet and put it in the oven. So I'll catch you in an hour. So let's see what's going on. Put this in the oven. That little piece of parchment paper is just kind of what it is. It is what it is. 14 minutes, we'll be back, and I will show you what these look like. Okay, guys, the cookies are done. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. So this is the cross section. Is that what people call it? I'm pretty sure, yeah. I didn't even break it properly, but it looks pretty good if you ask me. Not me baking cookies. Listen, okay, I gotta try it. I gotta try it. Yep. I'm gonna be making cookies every day. Just know that. If I put on 100 pounds, mind your business. This slaps very much. It's almost like a crumble cookie, to be honest. If you guys ever had a crumble cookie, You know what I'm talking about. It's not like gooey, but like as gooey as a crumble cookie, but it has a nice texture, a nice crunch, and the flavors are really there. And it's sweet. I told you guys the scone yesterday was not sweet. It was 1, a scone, and 2, incorrect. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll catch you next week.